in general, the piece is about water, and we kind of came to that conclusion after we had our first conversations about what we wanted to do. We were very interested in investigating like two contrasting movement qualities, and the first suggestion was like something like water and honey. So water being very fluid, and honey being something that's like oozing. It has this very dense, thick quality.
Yeah, we sort of want to play with the different images that came to our minds when we thought of water, and we realized that was already a vast field of inspiration, because there is a lot of variety when you think of water and from different perspectives of the world. So since we come from two different places, I think, and we have 6 other dancers in the room, I think there is a lot that we can do just by this pure flow of water.
So for me, Patchwork, it's about sewing together many different threads of different ideas to form one vast piece of fabric. And like Amanda just mentioned, like we're 2 like choreographers, and we have 6 dancers. So we have many different voices, many different perspectives that we're trying to knit together to form our piece.
For me, when I see it more literally to what patchwork means, like more following the meaning of the words, and I was thinking about it yesterday, talking with Jack. This patching of a hole, of a broken tissue, like I see it from the way that we are dance colleagues, and we now have the chance to choreograph, so to be on the other side of the room, and maybe that's a way of patching these holes that we have during our dancing life.
Yeah.
Yes, to research, to learn, to heal, to see our colleagues from another perspective. So I think that's also patching work.
We wanted to kind of find like a soundscape that invited a particular kind of atmosphere. For example, like I was quite inspired by the sound of like cracking twigs when you're walking through a forest. And then when I was trying to find this like online, the closest thing I could find was the sound of crackling fire, like a crackling fire. And this has this really soft kind of snapping sound, which automatically makes you feel very warm and very kind of cozy. And this was really interesting because even though what we started to create is sort of like water, it's very fluid, it's quite hypnotic, coupled with this kind of atmospheric crackling noise, it has the potential to bring something quite soothing and hypnotic. But also contrasting that, we want to find out like what happens if we find an image or a picture that is very stark or is very contrasting. Oh, and one more thing. Sorry. We wanted to search for pieces of music that had their inspiration from the first place with water. So, for example, we found some titles of music that were like the reflections of the garden pond, or rain falling in a garden, things like that. And so that led us to composers like Debussy and Chopin. And so then we started to play around with that in the studio too, with the movement that we found.
We do have an aesthetic vision of the costume that we think will support our movement quality, the movement quality that we want to defend. We were trying out different things last week, and we really had fun with it. A very important thing is that we don't want socks. Yeah, for me it's important to see the naked feet of the dancers. Like, I think connected to the topic is also important that we leave it naked, so that to give a more natural feeling to the audience.
We had a thought of trying to find perhaps a textile that had a particular kind of texture that changed when the light shone on it in a different way. So it had this capacity to have like 2 textures in one, basically. for example, like if you think about the surface of the sea, when it's super still, it's like a perfect mirror. But then when it's slightly windy, then you have this all these little waves that you can see. So we felt like this could be an interesting texture to play with as a costume element on stage.
We also realized with the time that the first automatic color that we liked was blue, or different shapes of blue going to white and gray. But then with the process we realized that that is probably not the color that everyone refers to when they think of water. Because basically water has no color, but also just the contact, the approach that you have to water in different parts of the world is probably not the same that we have here. So yeah, now we're thinking about the brown, dark beige colors because I think it's a maybe more common color that we see on the streets, what is left after the rain in many places of the world.
Personally, I would love that the audience watches the piece as if they are seeing something through a filter, and I believe that's achievable from the kind of quality that we investigate and work with the dancers on. And I would like to see as if there's like an invisible force that's moving the dancers as if they were sort of underwater, for example. I also would love that the audience can take away kind of like a sea of images that appear and sort of dance on the surface and then also dissolve away until another image kind of pops up again.
For me, I also like that. And I would also like that the audience take awareness of what a luxury water is. It's not the same opportunity that everyone has around the globe, so just like to have a cheer for that.
Come and see it. Come and see it. Come and see the show. Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. Sorry.
No.